Ooh.
What?
Hello, would you like to join the U.S. military? Ooh. Yeah, we can talk about that. The thing that kicked all this shit off and started the whole kerfuffle, as it were.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Video Games Are the Worst Thing on Earth. I am your host, Alton. With me, as always, is Reese.
Reporting for duty.
Oh, yes. I've completely forgotten. In the interim, since our last episode, I know it's been a while. We're having trouble, putting them out regularly due to COVID sadness. But, me and Reese, we decided, hey, it's finally time. And join the U.S. military.
That's right.
We're part of the U.S. Army's Special Podcast Division, where we go out and create military podcasts to try and recruit young people into our violent, authoritarian, imperialist, noble and brave U.S. Armed Forces.
That's right. We're going to call people to online. We're going to call Twitter a hell site, but we're going to do it for the U.S. military.
That's right, Reese. And here today to help sell you on the concept of becoming a cog in the imperial machine known as the U.S. Army is Kay. Hey, Kay.
Hey, hang on just a second. I'm just doing a little drone strike here. And,
all right, cool. Yeah. Another thing about the U.S. podcasting division, they also let us do drone strikes for some reason.
Oh, yeah. They love it.
I think it's some kind of budget concern. They couldn't make it a separate division, so they've just integrated us with the drone strike part.
You're a little too kind about their presentation. The Army has a if you can lean, you can clean policy, but instead of cleaning, it's doing drone strikes.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's done. They're not going to be getting married.
Yeah.
Great job.
That wedding. Thank goodness.
Fuck that wedding.
S rank, buddy.
Exactly. Oh. All right. So,
okay, enough of this dreadful bit.
This is an awful bit.
I'm sorry.
But let's talk about what's in the news recently, or in the case of when this episode comes out, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. that's honestly a pretty positive outlook.
Yeah.
When it's coming out.
Yeah.
But the U.S. Army has a fucking esports team, and apparently have done since 2018. But very recently, they're in the news because they posted cringe, basically.
Yeah.
So we've got an article here from GameSpot, obviously the best source for news about the U.S. Army. Internet and U.S. Army Esports Discord channel go to war. Users are speed running to get banned from the Army's official Discord after uwu tweet by Haley Williams. So we can get into this article, but how familiar with you guys with this situation?
Pretty familiar.
So I'm just learning about this uwu tweet right now, and I'm just I would describe it as a fountain of despair that I'm drinking from greatly at the moment.
I'm vaguely familiar with Army's latest efforts. Outside of this esports thing, they've just had a presence at a lot of physical gaming events.
Right.
There's always a booth to let you know that, hey, if you like Call of Duty, you can do it for real, kids. And and there's definitely been some pushback.
Just be like, hey, can I do no Russian? Can I do no Russian real life? No Russian?
And they're just like, oh, sorry, that's the CIA.
Oh yeah. It's sad because it's true.
But they have launched this kind of gamer PR thing since smart people don't go outside anymore, and dumb people are still out there doing what they're doing, so they're still got that outreach.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad the U.S. Army is moving recruitment online because that's where we can all see it, and it's awful.
Yeah.
So let me just read like this series of tweets. So originally, fucking, oh my god, Discord. This is the original tweet from Discord. Discord is your place to go to talk. Looking ahead, and then a Discord link. And U.S. Army Esports was like, giant Wumpus plushie when? Discord, how giant is giant? U.S. Army Esports, Snorlax giant. Discord, we'll ask the merch store boss lady. U.S. Army Esports, ooh woo, hearts. Good hunt.
That sucks. This sucks.
And I don't know if this is in one of your other articles, but in conjunction with this, there is a Army Esports e-girl that is running the entire thing. Yes, there is. Let me see if I can find the tweet.
Absolutely. She should be the like the picture for the podcast episode.
Oh my god. I bet the replies are fucking great. It's just like, I want to drink your bath water. And then just was like, you can drink her bath water by signing up at your local recruitment center.
Oh fuck. When you enlist, you get a jug of bath water.
E-girl bath water. That's how they're tempting people to join the military now.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh my god, I just had this.
Ooh woo might bomb a hospital later. IDK XD. I'm so random. People are making fun of them, obviously. So here's another tweet making fun of them. Ooh woo, please and whist and commit war crimes. Woo. In case anyone listening doesn't know what ooh woo stands for, it's supposed to be like a little smug little cat face that's like UWU. It's supposed to make like a little happy cat face. But of course, when you have to read it out loud, it's just like ooh woo, which is great. And it's something that you definitely want to see the army use.
Oh yeah, it's very normal. You should show your grandparents people doing that and see what they think about it.
Yeah.
Just watch the look on their face.
All right, so I don't really feel the need to read this article. I don't think it talks about the U.S. Army's e-girls. But it basically, this kickstarted, obviously, a pretty negative wave of reaction against this because it fucking sucks. And it's cringe, for one. Even if it wasn't like the fucking U.S. military, who is just like one of the most murderous, brutal forces on the face of the earth, it's also cringe, which is unforgivable. And this has kicked off. People are basically going to the U.S. Army Esports Discord server in waves and are trying to speedrun getting banned from the Discord. Now, this sort of like Discord banning speedrun thing, I think sort of originates with that Yandere dev. Like, people would go onto his Discord server and then try to like get banned as quickly as possible.
There's a lot that will get you banned on the Yandere dev Discord server, from my understanding. It's just like people just go and just like post a picture of his face. They just get banned immediately. And there's like 1,000 things that he does not like. And he's always looking at his Discord and has like bots to ban like anybody saying any new words. And it's fucking amazing. So the gamers have trained in the lower tiers of Discord server to fight in the more powerful war of the U.S. Army Discord.
Right. And Reese, you were telling us that you spent some time down in the Discord trenches.
I did not go onto the Discord. I could not bring myself to click that link, but I did go to the Twitch channel while it was broadcasting some guy playing Apex Legends, and it was amazing. Based on what the people were saying in there, is that the U.S. Army has tightened down like posting restrictions so much is that like there's nobody even there to to talk, because when I was there, you had to wait 1 hour to post. And as I was waiting, to be rude to them, they kicked that up to a day, because people would just post to be like, link the U.S. war crimes Wikipedia.
What, on Twitch?
On Twitch, and they would get immediately banned. They had moderators that are just super fast there. And one of the funniest things I have ever seen is people just saying, like, it's bad to kill civilians, right? And then have this soldier look at the screen and just being like, chat's so toxic.
Holy shit.
And did you contribute? Did you be part of the toxic chat?
No, because they kicked it up to a day before you could post. And it's clear that they have no idea how to handle the just like huge tsunami of online hatred that they're getting, because usually they have, people are like indoctrinated into believing that they're good, or they're just like, whatever, man, I gotta feed my fucking family, and they're just like, yeah, great, you love the army, that's what that means. And I have to give credit to Twitch user Long Live Assad, who had the best utilization of that, just had that Twitch username and would never and not say anything offensive enough to be banned. Would just be like, that there's a lot of bans going on today, huh, guys? Oh wow, you're extending you've dropped a lot of viewers since yesterday. Just being like,
Jesus,
mildly critical. But
just with the fucking name, Long Live Assad.
And so that was who you would see the most. And the other thing that was great.
That's fucking great. Oh my god.
Twitch user Long Live Assad. Thank you for your
Jesus Christ.
The other thing was great was one of the mods getting real mad at the Vice article that was making fun of the U.S. Army Esports team for being like bad video game journalists. They're just like, they did not accurately report this detail that absolutely nobody fucking cares about. And they did not report our timeline where we were talking about this, and that. They just talked about the controversy. And they're like, yeah, no shit. Nobody wants to be the U.S. Army's propaganda arm, even Vice, shitty as they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the clear indication here is that people are just sort of fed the fuck up with the army and like troop worship, or at least I hope that's what this means, because it's just sort of like just hearing people talk about like 2003 and insane shit like the Iraq War, how it was almost like living in a fever dream where you couldn't say anything negative about this clearly fraudulent war, because like people would be like, why don't you support the troops? And now I'm just glad that people nowadays are like, they're sophisticated enough now to just say, I'm fucking a troop's wife.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that is the energy we need to bring forward into this new world. It's just like every single fucking bootlicker is just awful. I got some pretty good salt mines for after we're done talking about this, actually.
Well, I think too is that it's a specific culture that is just not gonna work for the U.S. Army. Like,
yeah,
I have known some people to get out of the U.S. armed services of various things, and either they're just like totally indoctrinated and they don't post on Twitter. Twitter offers them nothing, or they're totally disillusioned. There's people who sold me weed, and they're just like, yeah, I fucking hate the Army. Never contact me via actual phone call because that triggers some PSD I don't want to talk about. It's like, all right, dude, sounds like it was fucked up.
What the fuck?
No, I mean, this is what it's like to be in the military, is that you just do this fucked up shit, and either you don't participate in normal society if you like it because somebody's going to tell you to your face they're going to fuck your wife, or you hate it. You hated the experience and you had to go through it because you needed an education and you needed just some way out of whatever your shitty situation was, and you were 17 and you felt that was the only option. And so like preying on 17-year-olds and like trying to present yourself as just another brand are like two different skill sets that the Army just really doesn't have. Like saw how upset that they got people like joining in and trying to troll them. Like the correct answer is to just wait until people get bored and just keep doing your shit. But they were like got really upset and they extended it to a day and they've tanked their viewership because of it. And it's just like it's just because they don't understand why people would dislike them. Like if they look at that Wikipedia page, it's like they'll just fucking turn to stone.
So yeah, the army obviously has no fucking clue what they're doing. They're trying to copy like all these fucking embarrassing brands, and people fucking hate the brands on Twitter anyway. Like I know there's like some sort of normie core of Twitter who is just sort of like, wow, Wendy's is epic, or some shit like that. But when it's associated not with like some, you know, burger joint and with a fucking, you know, like actual horrific war crime committing entity, you know, it takes on a little bit, even more of like an absurd, insincere edge.
Well, what Wendy's does is when people are like screaming about how terrible Wendy's is in the Wendy's chat, so long as they're not saying the N-word, Wendy's understands that they're just like, haha, engagement, who cares? You're here.
Yeah.
You know, look at this Baconator, you fucking idiot.
You fat fucks, you'll want this afterwards and you won't even know why.
But the U.S. Army has just like so much weighing on their soul that even though I'm sure they've been told that, they can't do it. It's just like it's fucking a Christmas Carol. It's just like ghost of Iraq War past. They're like, no, just say I'm Poggers.
Just say I'm Poggers.
That's what the army wants. They want you to see them do drone strikes and then have
do the soy face and go Poggers.
Yeah.
Monkus.
Oh man, soy facing to these epic war crimes. Oh man, we just did white phosphorus on a civilian zone. Dab on them.
See, you know what? I'm going to be real with you. I think that would work at recruiting Zoomers because they're so like shitty and irreverent and awesome.
Generationally more black-pilled than even the millennials.
Yeah, you need a really black-pilled campaign like that. You got to dab on.
That would be fucking. That would actually be a lot more interesting and I guess honest in a way, because it's just sort of like, check out this epic Abu Ghraib prison torture.
You would straight up get think pieces being like, well, we have to praise them for their honest approach. Like,
Jesus Christ.
It would work. I hope they're not listening because it would work.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, we get a job with the fucking army working on their recruitment campaign.
With 700 million evictions having occurred this month, I don't think the army needs any more help all of a sudden. Is the unfortunate truth.
Yeah. They're fucking predatory. Like they 100% rely on like student loans and fucking like massive poverty and like housing crisis to get their fix of bodies for the year. And that's what they fucking call it. That's what US Army recruitment fucking calls the people they recruit, is bodies.
Yep.
That's fucked up. They get into it in another article we've got from Ars Technica, but did you want to read anything out from the Vice article? I had not read this one.
It's just going over more of the stuff that we talked about with, you know, the speedrun bans, the people saying ooh. Apparently during the stream, the Green Beret on camera characterized viewers asking about U.S. atrocities as internet keyboard monsters and said, I'm bigger than you. Like,
that's definitely what you say when they're not getting to you at all.
I'm an internet keyboard monster.
I'm
pretty much.
That is a fucking tight ass name, to be honest.
Yeah, man.
Like they have this tweet, which I think is 100% how Twitch chat felt when I was there. Just 7 deleted by monitors, and then changing this room is now 30-minute followers only mode.
real name Bruce D9 saying thanks for serving.
Yeah, little bootlickers.
Yeah.
Like there's only one fucking good soldier that I'm aware of, and his name is Jeffrey Dorner.
I
I was
believe you.
convinced you were going to say Master Chief.
I also thought you were going to say Master
Oh
Chief.
no, Christopher Dorner. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
Chris
fucking
Dorner.
Yeah,
who-
Chris Dorner is the only good U.S. Army person.
I'm saluting him right now.
We're all saluting.
The only good soldier and the only good cop.
Exactly.
right.
Hell yeah. Big Dorner energy support. Get those hearts going in the chat for Chris Dorner.
That's right. Subtram going for Chris Dorner.
Fuck. All right, so Reese posted this earlier, but this is like apparently this is the fucking person who is responsible for the U.S. Army uwu. This is from Panda at Pand DD uwu. Hi, I'm the social media manager for U.S. Army Esports, and I am the uwu lord. Thank you for your kind words, uwu. And it shows her in cosplay as like one of the Attack on Titan people, and then her Army Esports uniform. The Army is recruiting e-girls.
And if you go to her Twitter profile now, it's an interesting response to the criticism where it's cherry picking the worst people and being like, well, it's fucked up y'all aren't mental health advocates, but I'm gonna keep going when people like tell her to kill herself or whatever, which is like,
look at this one. I could serve in the Army and still be a kind person.
Oh my
Just
god.
like, fuck you.
yeah.
Fuck you.
Like I think that we're
Oh,
about
God.
4 days away from her characterizing this as a Gamergate style mob.
Hell yes. She starts going on about cancel culture. Fucking
God.
Peter Coffin has her on his fucking podcast. Hell yes.
All right, so that's one option, but I want to really bring the alternative in here because it seemed like their guy on the Twitch stream was very upset about ethics in games journalism before. So I don't know which side the army's going to be on for Gamergate 2, guys.
Gamergate 2 Electric Boogaloo. Both
Well,
sides.
I mean,
They're gonna be on both sides. They're gonna be like, this is a Gamergate style attack against us noble army officers, and also game journalists are stupid and wrong.
I mean, that's pretty much the natural evolution of that whole stupid kerfluffle, is just like a complete misunderstanding of both the hate mob and the response and the reactionary nature of it, and just it's the U.S. Army just professing every viewpoint simultaneously. That's
Yes.
That's the perfect epilogue.
Oh my god! And she's posting things about Vanessa Galen, which I believe is like the one that like people are speculating they fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And just like, Jesus Christ, this is like the ultimate lib woke account, like talking about self-harm, talking about surviving like sexual assault, and then being a fucking brand manager for the US Army. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
It is so grim because it's literally that fucking cartoon where it's like, I hear next year's drones will be flown by a woman.
Yeah.
It's grim, and I don't like thinking about it.
Yeah, in general, at some point, I'd like to do an episode kind of about the culture war stuff that is not rooted in any kind of like political grounding, and kind of how that is developed. Because I think that is very much within the purview of this, but it's such a weird milieu of how it's developed that I'm not even 100% sure where to go with it.
Culture war about what?
Just in general, like the online culture war, you know, that I think kind of had hit that flashpoint with Gamergate, where it was the SJWs versus the 4chan,
yeah.
the Pepe.
It might be interesting to talk about how gaming as like a reactionary force developed originally out of being very anti-Christian and very anti-conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like, you know, early 2000s, you got shit like Jack Thompson and like, I don't know, like the Concerned Mothers Board or whatever it was called, and like these moralistic panics about violence in video games. And back then, it sort of had like this South Park edge where it just sort of like, you never have like the fucking trad conservative gamer back then because it was like not considered cool, because they were recognized rightfully that the people actually trying to like really censor video games were fucking conservatives. And nowadays it's sort of like they're taking that same sort of attitude of being attacked and like unfairly criticized and censored for like genuine artistic critiques of video games as a medium. It's wild.
And the liberals have kind of co-opted the other side, as we see here with the quote SJW language unquote, where it's just like all the biggest like figures who are anti-Gamergate, like Brianna Wu and the Chris Warcraft and stuff, are now like massive libs who all spoken. Bob Chipman, of course, and it's just like they're all with her, and it's Arthur this weird
Chu.
like.
So I'm just listing all the ones I know that are pretty obnoxious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's just like Zoe Quinn herself is pretty good from what I've heard from her. She's like, she has talked a lot about how people she's known who's gotten a lot of money and how that like totally fucking warps their opinions and how they go about dealing with things, and they end up like turning against like the stuff they supposedly believed in at the start. And I think that is, of course, the one person who was like, you know, it was actually about and didn't just like jump in for clout, you know, has a decent take, but everybody else sucks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe I'm jumping on the bandwagon too late, but as a career move, I will be becoming an obnoxious Gamergate lib in 2020 when it's the most relevant.
Yeah, now's the time. Get in that market, man.
I created a Twitter account that's like the Is It Art account, but is it a Gamergate account?
Oh my god!
And you'll tweet me things that are going on, and I'll let you know whether or not it is a Gamergate. And then I will.
And it'll always be yes. This is Gamergate.
Well, I mean, you can and listen, and if you want to pay me to turn a tweet a certain direction, you know, whatever we can do to get that clout going.
Hell yeah! This sounds like
ethics.
It sounds like very ethical and gaming journalism.
Yeah, ethical and epical.
All right, so let me get into like getting back to the fucking disgusting worm people at the United States Army recruitment drive. This is from an article from The Independent. The U.S. military is using video games and esports to recruit. It's downright immoral. Recruitment for the military within Western countries is generally failing, and its relationship with video games is being strengthened all the time. By James McMahon. Basically, I wanted to read just the first part of this article because it gets into like how they actually talk about people. So here's the beginning. At the end of the U.S. Army's fiscal year this past September, the independent military news source Army Times reported that it had failed to meet its recruitment target by 7,500 bodies, despite offering up to $40,000 in bonuses, shorter enlistments, and student loan repayments.
Holy shit. Sorry to interrupt you, but that is something to be excited about. I think they were throwing up to 40 grand at people and couldn't get them to fucking sign up. That rocks.
I know, because it's like there's no amount of money you can pay someone typically to like fucking die for some pointless cause.
Yeah.
The thing about like the military that's fucking wild to me is that they have to go through all these underhanded shitty tactics to try and get people to join, when literally when you have like when there's something that like people actually believe in, when it's actually about like defending your home, people will just like fucking line up the block. Like they didn't have to fucking do shit like this for World War II because it was like a justified war against like an actual threat, you know?
Yeah.
And like now it's just sort of like, please join the military to shoot Iraqi children for oil. We'll give you so many monies.
Well, yeah, even in 2001, I know so many people who like got American flag tattoos. I knew somebody
my God, how
who was in a fucking punk band who said, maybe it's okay if we give up some of our freedom to have security. And I was just like, dude, it's just like, dude, I'm peacing out. Time to bury my sorrows in gaming for 20 years because this is fucked up.
There was, I think it was Lindsay Ellis did a really good video recently about protest music in like the Bush era and how it just, there wasn't really any. And a lot of the response of artists and stuff post 9/11 was just to be like, fuck yeah, American imperialism, let's do it.
Yeah. And honestly, if anything, maybe we should be more worried about this than like excited that they can't get enough people, because, you know, who knows when the next George Bush, former CIA agent, is gonna like decide that a false flag plane being driven into something won't drive up recruitment somehow.
Oh, you know what? It's gonna happen, and it's gonna be like they're gonna be like, that was a Chinese plane, and then that's when you know what.
Yeah, 100%. I would like to reiterate, I just want to back up just 2 seconds and agree with you that it is the official position of video games are the worst thing on earth, that the George Bush administration did 9/11. I just wanted to underscore that.
I mean, there's a small, slight, tiny possibility they didn't. But in terms of what it did for them, it was like all fucking benefit for those monsters.
The most outside possibility is that at least Dick Cheney knew and giggled as it was happening. Like,
yeah, for sure. I love that Alton described it as a false flag, and I didn't even like. I immediately was like, yeah, of course.
I mean, the next, like, I'm saying that, like, even if that was a genuine attack by, you know, fucking Saudis funded and protected terrorists, so, you know, that's something. We're still allies with them for some reason.
Yeah,
I'd go so far as to say they're a U.S. fucking client state. So, like,
of course they are.
U.S. still did 9/11, even if the Saudis did it. Like,
yeah. So, you know, backing away from that for a second, it's just sort of like, what kind of fucking excuse are they going to try and come up with to try and drive people to join the military? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but, you know, keep your third eye open, listeners.
I mean, I think I agree with that one Matt Crispin blog that you posted, that right now the best targets are internal, and that a lot of that energy is going to be shifted into, like, I think Antifa is going to be like a real, like, obviously, you know, it's a joke to us, but I think to the United States military, it's kind of a real designation that they can tag anybody with, and there will be a war on them or something to that effect to generate that. That really rang true from the Matt Christman truth streams.
Yeah, you're probably right with that, but I think the thing is with that is that it doesn't have the same rallying effect that a foreign enemy attack would have. I think that has the potential to backfire spectacularly, like we're seeing with like the Black Lives Matter protests and the police brutality, that just making people more determined and like to fucking stop these pigs. So who knows? It could go either way, but it's speculation at this point. So we should probably return back to the topic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry I went on a rant about how George Bush did 9/11.
No, don't never apologize.
You're just spitting facts, my man.
Oh boy.
Sorry to derail your train of thought.
No. It's fine. I derailed my own train of thought, really. But yeah, I want to just talk about this very briefly, but the United States military has been trying to use video games as a method of recruitment since 2002, at least, with the release of a game that they developed called America's Army, which was a free-to-play first-person shooter, which, quote, aims to give players a taste of what it's like to be a member of the armed forces. It's garnered a number of awards over the years and has managed to attract several million players on both PCs and consoles. While it's certainly proved popular with gamers, it isn't an outright recruitment tool in its own right. More accurate description of the game would be that it's an aid in the recruitment process. So I don't know if you guys have ever played America's Army.
Oh yeah,
I have not.
I have played a little bit. I played, I basically just did like the boot camp, I think. But like, I was gaming on like early 2000s internet where multiplayer was basically just out of reach.
I mean, listen, I am not proud of it, but it was a good game at the time. And it was friend of the show, Everyman, and I. We were certainly not pro Army in any way, shape, or form. But it was a good tactical kind of shooter type game during a time when that was much less a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the most fucked up thing about the game is that both teams were the U.S. Army, and the other side was like a faceless terrorist organization.
Nice.
And it was, even then we were just like, it's kind of fucked up. Let's not think about that while we play.
Killing the non-humans, the others.
Yeah, exactly.
Just well, the fact that it's like you see each other as the U.S. Army and you see the other as like the fucking faceless terrorists. I think that's dope. Yeah. I think that's Spec Ops: The Line shit, like early on.
And there would be shit like, maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like there was like auto balancing. And so you would just be like, oh, in between rounds, I've become a member of the army for the other team.
And now I'm shooting the people who are my friends on that side. Just
exactly.
Oh man, that's what the next 9/11 is going to be like. The little preview event.
It is absolutely a horrendous project, and if there's any video game I could unplay, it would probably be that and Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
I would probably unplay what was it called? Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter for the original Xbox. What a piece of shit! Holy fuck!
It just didn't run well. No moral complaints.
Well, I mean, it is an army game, so plenty of moral complaints. But also, it was just a giant piece of shit that wasn't any fun. So it's got the worst of both worlds, basically. So this is from Ars Technica. They have an entire article called "Killing in the Name of the U.S. Army in Video Games." From the archives, the U.S. Army has long used video games for training and recruitment, by Mike Thompson.
Dope title.
Yeah, it's a pretty good title. Basically, the first part just talks about America, how they're investing $50 million into video game development. And then it says that's not much of a surprise to the industry. After all, the Army has realized that video games are immensely useful tools, both for capturing the public's interest as well as training soldiers in the art of war. Recruitment, not training. Is America's Army a kind of last starfighter where recruiters actively seek out those who are the top players? Hardly. But the military has found it to be useful as a way of engaging and communicating with today's youth. Public Affairs officers Richard Beckett revealed that these days, America's Army is used for social events like LAN parties. Such game-centric gatherings are part of the Army's Future Soldier Sustainment Program, which does not sound ominous at all. Quote, events like LAN parties are useful because we want the recruits to see the recruiters as regular folks, like themselves, and to help future soldiers to stay the course, he told Ars. Enlistees don't leave for boot camp immediately, since the delay between signing up and shipping out can sometimes be upwards of 6 months. Army recruiters try to keep these future soldiers involved with the military community so they don't drift away while waiting to ship out. A sense of inclusion and a certain comfort level does wonders for cold feet.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's
That's
fucking...
so...
It is fucking, like, the most manipulative and, like, gross culture possible.
That's cult shit, man.
Yeah, Captain Brian Stanley, the Fresno Company commander, agreed that America's Army is an important outreach tool. These events are a way to get kids involved in the concept of teamwork. They can mingle with Army guys, and we can look for the team leader in the squad. If they're interested, they come and talk to us anyway. Oh my god. It is like 100% it is grooming.
Yeah.
Just grooming children to just like believe in like this cult-like mentality surrounding the armed forces and just being like, this is so much fun. I love playing video games with my friends. Wouldn't it be even better if it was real life? Oh my god. I'm gonna become a Master Chief when I grow up. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, little Timmy. You're gonna die at 17 in Fallujah in the first wave.
I think what this is really saying to me is it's time for Coney 2012 to come home.
Jesus. Yeah, child soldiers.
Yeah.
Psycho shit. Like, and then they talk about the other fucking games that they've gotten. There's another part about games as training, which is kind of interesting because apparently DARPA made a special modification of Operation Flashpoint to train soldiers. But I think the most disturbing part is the parts about like recruitment.
Yeah.
So critics take aim. The Army has found its LAN party events to be effective because gamers get into them, already conversant with many of the tools and tactics of modern warfare, just because they played so many military-themed titles. Quote, kids know more about the Army than we do, Stanley claimed. Quote, between the weapons, vehicles, and tactics, and a lot of that knowledge comes from video games. So, just absolutely insane how, like, this article doesn't get into it, but we've talked about before how they've had like ex-CIA, like Army operatives work as consultants for shit like Call of Duty. And it's like, even if they're not trying to do it intentionally, the rest of the AAA game industry, specifically shit like Call of Duty, is doing so much work for these assholes.
Oh yeah, that and Battlefield as well, certainly.
Yeah, and that's not to say that like these games are bad or even malicious in any way, but I mean, Call of Duty obviously is malicious. Let's be real here. Like the fucking mission where you go into the fucking Venezuela in the 1980s as like a CIA agent. It's so fucking obvious that these like military shooters, like the majority of them, just work as propaganda basically for the U.S. Army. And then, I'm sorry, I'm just like going on this fucking rant, but like, and then there's like the controversy they had where they had like white phosphorus used as a tool, as like a bonus in the multiplayer for Call of Duty, where you're just like, you've killed enough people, now you can horrifically disfigure and maim them with white phosphorus, which I'm pretty sure is against the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, bro, you can do that's a war crime.
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's
but
like,
it's fun. It's a kill streak. Who cares? Woo.
And then there was like that part, I think it was the most recent Call of Duty game where they were like, they fucking whitewashed like the road of death. Something that happened during the Gulf War where a bunch of Iraq army vehicles and civilian vehicles got trapped on a bridge and they just got fucking massacred. And
Jesus.
it was a pretty big, it was kind of a big deal at the time and very controversial. But of course, in this Call of Duty game, it's done by the evil bad Russians instead.
Oh, I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sort of like whitewashing U.S. war crimes is a function of AAA game development now, apparently.
Yeah, and art is maybe the most effective tool in normalization. So many ideas are just like considered common sense because everyone saw them on like TV and shit growing up. Like we all like to think we're smarter than that, but no.
We're not smarter than
fucking
that.
Stupid.
Dumb as fuck.
I'm
Like,
fucking dumb as hell. I believe everything I see on TV.
in the latest Far Cry, which is supposedly like a pseudo Cuba, there's like a massive riot going on, and the president like takes his son to the roof and hands him a grenade and just being like, you have to keep your people close. Now what will you do? and then that's the whole trailer. And then later Ubisoft is just like, by the way, this is non-political.
They do that for every fucking Fallout. I'm so sick of Ubisoft. Ubisoft, your games suck shit and you suck shit. Fuck
They're so
you.
they're so shit. Far Cry 5 was crazy because at the beginning it seemed like the cult was gonna be like maybe something to do with white supremacy and these ideas that are building in America. And then you play the game and it's just like, no, they don't really have any ideas about anything.
Spoiler alert, the cult was right.
Yeah, because it ends with like nukes. Like they're prepping for like the apocalypse, and the end of the game is like a global nuclear Armageddon.
Yeah, it's this nondescript nuclear Armageddon, and they were right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's the most just fucking limp-dicked, miserable. Everything that Ubisoft does is they just appropriate political imagery and political settings, and then try to like remove themselves from any responsibility of using that imagery and that setting. And it is the most fucking infuriating thing because they're such little bitch baby cowards about it.
With Far Cry 5, they wanted to have it both ways at first too, where Jeff Gerstmann, I heard him do like a talk where he was brought to like a very early release playthrough of the game, and they're like, check out this fucked up shit. We're going to be dealing with all this weird shit America does. Isn't this wild? Isn't this weird? You're playing a video game about this? And then after people got mad, they were just like, oh no, it's not political. No, this is just, you know, Montana, what a great setting.
Fucking cowards.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just heard Ubisoft, and apparently that's just the Manchurian Candidate word. I just hear it, and I'm just sort of like, must kill.
I understand. And I think it's really interesting how spineless a lot of big companies are actually when it comes to that kind of thing. Like they will crawl under their rock if it even seems like people might get mad. Like, not to utter the forbidden words, but I think Star Wars is a good example of that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Star Wars is an amazing example of it because The Last Jedi like didn't do as well as the first one, but you know, whether or not you like the movie, you know, it did pretty well, and they got so rattled by the people who didn't like it. They just kind of couldn't make a decision about the last one, and then had a deadline, and it just kind of killed Star Wars. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Have you noticed how like freaks still talk about The Last Jedi, but people like, I don't even remember what the last one is called. What's the fucking third one called? Something Skywalker, right?
Oh no.
Luke Skywalker's got a great ass. Star Wars 9. I don't know. It's something. It's like the
What
it's like the
fuck was it
rise of
called?
Skywalker.
The Rise
like
of
that.
Skywalker. Oh my god, we all forgot.
Well,
Yeah.
I would like to posit that it is very similar to the finale of Game of Thrones, where everyone was like furious for a week, and then it just memory hole. It's gone. It's been erased from
Because
everyone's.
it's so,
fucking-
it's like it goes beyond just being controversial, and that it's just fucking shitty. It's
Yeah,
just
it
bad.
sucks. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's sort of like it doesn't even have enough quality to it to be controversial. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, there's nothing to sink your teeth into, whether you love it or hate it. Like, it's
Yeah. I mean, I think that it is sort of weird how art, specifically in like the sort of mainstream AAA giant too big to fail category, has over the years just become more and more cowardly and risk averse to the point of actually self-sabotage.
yeah.
Which is just like, it's sad. It's sad seeing art become consumed by capitalism and like turned into just like this gray mush that everyone has to consume every like year.
Yeah, you have to be part of the conversation. You've got to go watch Iron Man. You gotta.
No, don't watch it. The thing to me that's so hilarious about this is that you honestly need very little to anchor yourself in like a big dumb story like that to get people into it. There's a very broad, like heroic, like shorthand that you can still do. It's just that very broad heroic shorthand happens to include is like, hey, maybe it's not okay to be massively racist as the core of your being. And then like people on the internet freak out. They're like, well, what about being free? Thought about that? Piece of shit. And so they blink and they're just like,
what if a dictator told me I couldn't say the N-word? Wouldn't that be restricting my rights, my free speech? Wouldn't that be oppression? That's the same thing as black people being enslaved for thousands of years.
Yeah, if you think about it, I'm the victim here.
Exactly.
yeah.
I'm sorry I
exactly.
interrupted you.
No, and it's just like they try to have it both ways with everything, and it never works. Like the Rise of Skywalker, I have not seen it, but my understanding is it both tries to kind of walk back The Last Jedi and like just do like a very boring, broad like ending that doesn't pay attention to everything. And it's just nobody is served, and even massive Star Wars fans hate it. And I think that's true. I haven't seen the end of Game of Thrones 2, so maybe I'm talking out my ass, but it feels that's the same way, is that after it had stopped having the books as a grounding, they're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. Stories are hard. We just kill people with the dragons, and we kill people with swords, kill the swords with dragons with swords, and it sucks.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Okay. So who's ready to go into the salt mines?
Let's do it.
All right. So who wants to read the first one?
Me. I want to do it.
Okay.
Me.
All right, here we go.
From incredible username Breaking Sad, has some screenshots. All right. America's Navy posts, tap here, mission brief. You must quietly extract a captured ally from enemy territory. Stealth and safety are top priorities. The coordinates of your rendezvous location are a bunch of black boxes. How are you getting there? Hidden replies by America's Navy. I'm walking in through the front gate of the enemy base, and I'm just going to suck every dick and eat every pussy in there until they let our brave soldiers go. Just double-handed tornado twist those cocks until they're shaking from the orgasm, which will give me time to get them out. So,
oh my god!
Way to draw attention to that reply.
Yeah, that's so fucking amazing. I love this one. That's from Aqua at Ice Water Only. Oh,
King.
A fucking amazing reply. All right, so I wanna do this, or you can read this one out.
you do it. You've laid your claim.
All right, I will read this one out then. This is the Ballad of Hot Meat 89. So we'll start us off from Green Moss Love is Real 1998. I love you says on Tumblr. This is a Tumblr screenshot. Have fun in the war, dumbass. I'll be at home fucking military wives. Then Unbossed replies with, my girl's husband fights for your freedom. Oh my god. And East Bay Fat Man says, damn, good way to get your fucking windows kicked in. And here comes our hero of the day, Hot Meat 89. Shut the fuck up and raise my son, bootlicker. And Low Tier Memer says, all fun and games until somebody with 3 confirmed kills shows up to your doorstep with a baseball bat. Hot Meat says, I'm not in my house, though. I'm at yours with your wife. Penguintron says, but he's got shooters all over the world, even when he's away. Hot Meat just shot a load in his wife. Hitting on Cullen says, you ungrateful asshole. My boyfriend might be fighting for your freedom, and you're here mocking him for keeping your pathetic ass safe from the threats of the world. If a war comes to our country, we're not saving you, you dumbass ungrateful fuck up of a human being. And then Hot Meat caps it off with, your boyfriend is fighting for oil and killing civilians and is probably cheating on you. He's a scumbag, which is why I just fucked his mom to make a better son. Jesus Christ.
Our son and man, Hot Meat 89.
Fantastic individual. We salute you. Going into the Hall of Fame with Long Live Assad.
Oh yeah. These two will live in posters Valhalla. At the end.
I gotta say, I have to say that I love that this is kicked off from a bootlicker named East Bay Fat Man. Just like
I know. That is some real Posters energy. Just never give up, never surrender. Just keep being an abusive shithead to these bootlickers. And that's our advice for everyone else. Follow our heroes, Long Live Assad and Hot Meat 89, and follow their example when interacting with army recruitment propaganda.
Exactly. Do just exactly what they do.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the blueprint.
And with that, I think that's pretty much time.
Yeah, we wrapped that one up like a bow. Great job.
Exactly.
Nailed.
So, Kay, where can people find you and your posts telling other people about how you're going to fuck their wives when they leave for deployment?
All right, so when I've got to tell people face to face I'm going to fuck their wives, now I do that on Twitter. You can find me there at Skittles. And sometimes, I've really got to fuck someone's wife, so I'll make a whole video of it, and you can find that. And the channel's also called K and Skittles.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all about fucking wives.
Exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes he does it live on Twitch at K and Skittles. Today he was playing System Shock 1, but that's a deviation from the norm.
All right.
Yeah, it's fucking wives.
Reese, where can people find you?
They can find me at Your Very Good Bud on Twitter. And I'm on other places too, but who cares? Just Twitter.
All right. Yeah, cool. You can find me at 8Alton8 on Twitter. You can find my YouTube at Alton Plays, where I will eventually fucking upload some stuff, I guess. Maybe.
No, you won't.
Yeah, you're right. I won't.
You got too much going on. No, I would rather you spend your time doing something legitimate rather than being like, oh, another video to upload on YouTube.
God, I hate it.
Just do some gaming.
I hate content. Content sucks so bad.
Exactly.
But
All my homies hate content.
What did you say? I missed that one.
I said all my homies hate content.
All my homies hate content. Fuck content. Yeah. We're all gaming now. We're offline. I'm quitting social media to learn how to build 13th century style castles and shit.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
That's my grill pill. I'm going to learn medieval warfare and construction.
Yeah, and because we all hate content now, do not visit our website, videogamesaretheworst.pinecat.co, where we have all of the episodes you can check out. If once you're done building your 13th century castle,
once you're done getting banned from the Twitch stream of the U.S. Army Esports and their Discord, then don't head on over because there's a lot of great content on there. We hate content. Fuck content. Yeah, so also, don't follow our Twitter at VGATWTOE because it's also content. Fucking content everywhere. Sucks ass.
Disgusting.
What you should do is follow the U.S. Army Esports Twitch page now. Yeah. Because you got to wait at least a day before you can tell those soldiers you're going to fuck their wives and get banned. And so you want to get that started, get that going just as soon as you can.
Get those fucking soldiers. Get our soldiers. All right, our little keyboard monsters. You have your orders. Now go out and be horrible to people.
Targeted harassment is what we're suggesting.
Yes.
Yeah, we want Sanders Gamergate order. Style harassment.
We want
the
Bernie
United
Sanders style harassment. Gamergate Bernie Sanders style harassment. Oh my god.
All right.
Parody, non-actionable.
All right.
Bye,
farewell.
Everyone.
Goodbye.
Get them wives.
This is the Army, Mr. Joe. It's the Army. No private rooms or telephones. It's the Army. I had my breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore. This is the Army, Mr. This is the Army. We like a barracks nice and clean. This is the Army. I had a housemaid to clean my floor, but she won't help you out anymore. the buglers command. They're in the army and not in a band. This is the army, Mr. Frog. This is the army. You and your baby went to town. This is the army. She had you worried, but this is war, and she won't worry you.